Hey, what comes to mind when you hear startup culture? Probably big dreams, late nights, and a lot of hustle. But let's take a step back and talk about something most founders used to sweep under the rug: mental health. It wasn't that long ago that mental health in the startup world was almost a taboo subject. Back in the early 2000s, the message was pretty clear. If you're not burning out, you're not working hard enough. Founders wore stress and sleep deprivation like badges of honor. The only thing anyone talked about was growth, funding rounds, and crushing it. But beneath the surface, anxiety, depression, and burnout were quietly brewing. If you look back at Silicon Valley legends like Steve Jobs or Elon Musk, the stories rarely touched on their struggles. The narrative focused on relentless drive and, honestly, a bit of self-sacrifice. Talking about anxiety or admitting you needed a break, that was seen as weakness. But things started to shift in the 2010s. More and more founders began opening up, sometimes after publicized breakdowns or tragic endings. People realized that mental health was a real issue, not just a personal problem to be fixed in silence. The conversation started to change. One major turning point was when big names in tech began sharing their stories. Brad Feld, co-founder of Techstars, publicly discussed his battles with depression. Suddenly, it wasn't just okay to talk about mental health. It was necessary. Reports and studies started coming out, showing just how common burnout and anxiety were in the startup space. Companies started to respond. Perks shifted from just ping-pong tables and free snacks to mental health support, therapy stipends, and no meeting days. Founders began to see that sustainable success means caring for their team's well-being and their own. And let's be real, the pandemic only accelerated this shift. With everyone thrown into chaos, mental health became a central part of the conversation. Virtual therapy, mental health days, and open discussions became the norm, not the exception. Today, there's still a lot of work to do. Startup culture is fast-paced and tough, but the stigma around mental health, it's breaking down. More founders are sharing their stories, more investors are asking about well-being, and more teams are taking care of each other. So next time you hear about startup hustle, remember, behind every pitch deck and late-night email, there's a human being. Taking care of your mind isn't just smart business, it's essential. Thanks for tuning in. If you're building something big, don't forget to look after yourself along the way.